Looking for an exhilarating adventure in Muskoka? Look no further than Muskoka Jet Ski Rentals. Family owned and operated for over 20 years, they offer a variety of jet ski options to suit your preferences. Choose from the comfortable Sea-Doo GTI or the sporty Spark Tricks for an unforgettable ride. Need a family-friendly option? Try their Sea-Doo Switch pontoon boat for a group outing on the water. Based in Huntsville, Ontario, Muskoka Jet Ski Rentals serves all of Muskoka, including Gravenhurst, Bracebridge, Berks Falls, Kearney, and more. Contact them at 705-380-6857 or via email at info@muskokajetskirentals.com to book your jet ski rental today. With prices starting as low as $160, including fuel, get ready for endless fun on the water with Muskoka Jet Ski Rentals. Book now to keep the 2024 rates before they go up in 2025, and make sure to mention Stickers and Scuffs to get 15% off your rental purchase. Welcome back, Mighty Wipes, to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast in 2025. These alcohol-free, natural-scented products will revolutionize your cleaning routine. Their soapy hand wipes are gentle on the skin, making cleaning a breeze. How about for your race car or tough kitchen messes? Their automotive or kitchen degreasers will do the trick. Say goodbye to harsh chemical smells. Mighty Wipes have a natural sap scent that will leave your space smelling fresh and clean. Available at Two-Speed Motorsports or online at CanadaWipes.com. Mighty Wipes are a must-have for every household. Join the satisfaction of countless customers who have made the switch to Mighty Wipes. Try them today and experience the difference for yourself.
Stickers and Scuffs, we ride. Interviewing drivers side by side, from the pits to winning strides. Stickers and Scuffs, our racing guide. Hear the roar and feel the speed. Every driver chasing dreams, from the green flag to the win. Kevin Cradle, let's begin. Stickers and Scuffs, we ride. Interviewing drivers side by side, from the pits to winning strides. Stickers and Scuffs, our racing guide. Engines roaring, crowds alive, Ontario pride by the mile. Lap by lap on the move, catch the thrill in every groove. Stickers and Scuffs, we ride. Interviewing
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Ladies of the Oval Month, presented by Muskoka Jet Ski Rentals and Mighty Wipes. And of course, because it's presented by Mighty Wipes, we got to have a Mighty Wipes girl here. And it's not a Mighty Wipes girl because she's selling them. It's because she reps the brand on a race car. A good friend of ours, driver for TrevCO Motorsports, and competes in the OSS and at the dirt at Buxton Speedway. It's Lora Authier. Laura, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We're excited. Excited to finally have you on the show. It's been a long time,
It has.
but we had to have you for Ladies of the Oval Month. We already
Yes.
know you are a big supporter of Ladies of the Oval. You love the program. When did you first find out about it?
Ooh, that would have to be, well, 2 years. No. So this would have been, going on my third season. So for 2 full seasons, I've known about the Ladies of the Oval. So we're going on 3 years almost.
Did you make it into the calendar at all?
I happened to be Miss April last year.
Miss April last year. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. What do you think about the calendar?
I love the idea. It gives it, we don't get a lot of recognition for women, right? So it's nice to see, and it's not just Ontario, right? So I seen girls in there from the other side of Canada, which was really cool. And I'm sure they feel the same way about it, right? Like and not only do you get to share it with anybody. Like you can buy the calendar, you can buy it for a Christmas present, you can buy it for a birthday present. Either way, they're going to be on you're going to be on their wall, right?
Yep.
So, it's really good exposure, and of course, the program itself, like to help for sponsorship, is like the next level on top of it. So we really need that, and I think that me just starting to learn the marketing stuff, like I've been at it now for about 2 years, like hard at it, and it is tough. I never ever it took like marketing courses or anything throughout high school or nothing like that. So like I'm learning so much. So, but the Ladies of the Oval, I think the program all in itself is it's remarkable. I think it's a good program for any, and even the local girls at our dirt track, I keep pushing it on them. I'm like, you gotta like check it out, check it out.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of it for us, I think, is when we started following Ladies of the Old. That's how we got to know some of those names
Yeah.
that now are a part of the SNS roster, actually. And it's one of the things that we don't get a ton of time to talk with you during the race weekends because it's such a busy day. I mean, you guys are constantly busy
Yeah.
doing stuff, and so, obviously, you were part of the Ontario Sportsman Series last year, and
Hmm.
first female full-time competitor since Amanda Connolly slash now Amanda Balson.
And
In
how do you that like I said before, how do you follow that? Like
Yeah.
I've still yet to meet her, and like I seen her picture the other night, she was just rocking the ring, and I'm like, "Yes, I love
yeah,
it. I
she's
love it." I said
such
to Kevin, I'm like, "That is freaking awesome."
it is, and she's been the only female to win in the Ontario Sportsman Series. She did it at Delaware Speedway. You got your first taste of a full
Yeah.
season. What did you think?
Um wow.
I know it's a loaded question.
It was oh my gosh, so many memories, so much knowledge. Like I said at the beginning of Motorama, I'm like, if I can compete with like Chad McGlynn, and now I mind you, Chad McGlynn was off his game a little bit in Sunset, but I was also on it. So it was like when I said like, if I know I'm racing with him, then I know I'm here to stick around. And sure as shit, I was racing him at Sunset, and I was like, could it be any like? I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome! And as soon as I got out, I said to Kev, Chad gave me a donut at Full Throttle. So the week after, they showed up with some donuts, and I'm like, I didn't want to take the donut off my car. I said to Kev, I'm like, leave it on there. That's
That's
the
such a
moment
pride.
right
Yeah.
there. So I was
Badge
like,
of
this
honor.
yeah, so I was like, this is awesome. I'm like, so that was like really huge to be able to race not only like with Kevin, because that's freaking awesome all the time, but somebody that I've been watching the series with for 3 years, where I've seen his experience and hard driving skills. Because, like, on the dirt, like, it's a little more aggressive, right? So I like that Chad's that little bit extra aggressive than what the other. They're very respectable, very on point, but he's there and he hits it, and he's raw with his driving, and I like it. So
Hmm.
yeah, that was a highlight of the year, was to run with Chad for sure.
It was fun. We were there, and I remember I was in the infield during that race, and I was uh when I think it was you and Nathaniel actually were both having a killer race. And
Mm-hmm.
that race in itself with Brad and Corey having their showdowns it
Yes.
was amazing. It was a great showcase.
Yeah.
Um, from race one at Delaware to the final race at Sunset, how do you feel you did? Did you feel like you got better? That you still have some learning to do?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we all have learning to do consistently, like constantly, right?
Hmm.
I don't think I'll ever race and say that there's not something I can work on.
Mhm.
Um,
For sure. I would say so.
so the way I look at it is I learned a lot. Yes. Is there lots more to be learned? Absolutely. I mean, until I'm in the winning circle, that's when I need to start focusing. Okay, well, there's another step, right? So then what do you have to work to get even to the next step after that? But my goals coming into the season were like me and my girls sat down and I was like, let's make a personal goal, let's make a team goal. And each one of them made personal goals and we all made team goals. And a lot of them were, you know what, this is our first time on asphalt. Let's just be consistent.
Mhm.
And I was all for that. So consistency, and I wanted to finish in that top 10 um, because I knew there was usually about 12 cars that were going to be consistent. So I felt like to make it so I knew I had a little bit of competitiveness, I wanted to at least get in that top 10. And then
Yes.
as I started climbing and I was sitting in sixth in points, then I was like, okay, now it was that you wanted to dig even harder,
Well, of course.
right? So,
And you and Nathaniel, I thought it was so fun because you two came into the series together and you literally
yeah.
were like with each other. It felt like literally into each other at sunset, but you're kind of together all season long as kind of part of that TrevCO banner.
Yeah.
You had the opportunity to race all across Ontario. I would think that Sunset might be your favorite track now based on how you've run there. But after the season, what's a track out of the tracks that you ran on, which is the one that sticks out to you the most?
It would definitely be Sunset. I said
Yeah.
to Kevin, yeah, Sunset. I think it just reminds me a little bit of, I don't, I guess it's a little more slick than what the other tracks are. And from where my background's from, right? It comes a little bit more natural just because I am used to it. I'm there every weekend, right? So I think that benefits me at Sunset. And just the shape of the track and that it just in the inclines of it and that it just reminds me, I think, a little bit more of home. And I think it's just I'm comfortable. All I kept saying to Kevin, I was like, 3/4 of a second off and then it was half a second off, and I just said to him, like, I'm comfortable, don't change anything, I am comfortable. And when I was like chasing sixth, I was like, holy crap. And I seen Kev's car was the next one and I'm like, holy shit.
Can't pass him.
Yeah, I'm like, crap. And I was like, but I was excited because, like I say to him all the time, I want to get to race you. And he's always racing up front. He's never racing towards the middle or back. And I'm like, it's the other way around when he's on the dirt. So I'm like, I'm chasing it, right?
So you mentioned about dirt, that's and your background and stuff. Talk about coming from that and how it started for you there.
Yeah. So my dad's been racing. Well, there used to be a track here also called Ridge Raceway.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a kid, we'd race Saturdays at South Buxton Raceway, and then we'd race on Sundays at Ridgetown Raceway.
Mm-hmm.
So we were literally all weekend, every weekend for my whole childhood life. And it was just like my dad chased for that from his early 20s. I think he started in 84 or 86. I can't remember. So like he's going on 40 years of dirt racing. So it's something it's hard not to get addicted to.
Yeah, right.
And the stance of the cars and all that, it just caught my attention growing up. And then I was working on building a family and doing all that in my 20s. So I never thought anything of getting any interest. I always just enjoyed watching.
Mhm.
Now, mind you, every once in a while, I'd say to my dad, like, hey, like, there's a powder puff this year, or there's this or this, that. Let me try and race. And one of my dad's friends, Matt Wathier, he got this crazy idea by having a few drinks in the garage one night, and he's like, let's let Laura go. Let's let her go. She could drive my late model. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, if you guys want to, sure, I'll do it. And so I was about 20, 23, 24 when that happened. And I ended up winning the powder puff, and I ended up
Nice.
winning the mechanics race too. So I was like, this is cool. I'm like, all right. So then I kept bugging my dad, and finally when I was like 29, I was done having my kids, and he's like, we won a raffle and this car's yours. So and then that's just kind of how it started. And
Awesome.
Yeah, so and I haven't yeah, I haven't had a new car or anything in a while. And then this year he kind of surprised me with getting a Camaro. So we're starting kind of from scratch. I've never drove a Camaro before, so see how it
Cool.
goes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sidebar, I went
Yeah.
to college in Ridgetown, and so the track was gone when
Oh,
I
no
got there.
shit.
Where was it?
Okay, so if you go out, so you went to what would have been the university or the college they have there, right?
Yep.
So if you go out the other way, just down that road, it's right on your right-hand side.
Like if you're heading towards Blenheim or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
No way. I
Yes.
had like I went to school down there and I had no idea until like
Wow.
afterwards that there was a racetrack down there. Like, oh my God, that's so neat.
Yeah. Yeah, it was and now they just they haven't removed the track, but they've built on the land.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna probably ever open that back up as far as I know. It's unfortunate because I had so many childhood memories there. And then to have the scare last year that we did like with our home track, like
Hmm.
it sucks to see. It's like it's heartbreaking. There's so many memories and times and like life altering moments that happen at the racetrack, right? For some of us. So it's yeah, that was I'm glad they're open and they're back at it. So
Yeah,
And
it
for
seems to be
sure.
going good.
under new ownership too. So how do you feel about all the moves that the Marsh family are making at Buxton? It seems to have a very big resurgence of sorts. It looks
Yeah.
like it's got a lot of energy behind it.
It does. I think so far, I mean, last year at the beginning of the season, them trying to figure out the track, I think was a big deal. A lot of us were,
Hmm.
wrecking a lot of equipment. But as the year went on, you could see they was starting to get the hang of it. It was dry a couple of nights that were kind of out of it, but other than that, I mean, I think they put on a great show. They have, the crowds that they're bringing in seem to be filling, so they've
Yeah.
got to be doing something right. I think their intentions all in all are really, really good.
I mean, even though you guys had your scare, we did lose RIP. We did lose Humberstone. Um,
Yeah,
it doesn't seem though, however, that Buxton had a crowd issue. When you guys
no,
went
no,
there in 2022, I believe it was for the dirt race for OSS,
Yeah.
yeah,
not an issue with crowds there
no,
at all. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in multiple images I've seen of Buxton, there's not a seat available for most
not usually.
weekday night.
Yeah, like it's usually a good show, and I mean they consistently have four classes there. They started two. It was nice where they're giving one class off, every other weekend or so, which is nice because I mean, let's face it, running every single weekend is exhausting.
Yeah. Hard work
It
for sure.
like it just like physically like, and then on top of it you got families, you know what I mean, like it's, and they sacrifice a lot, like to be honest with you, like racing is a very selfish sport, right? And we take time away from our families and our loved ones that actually, like I have a daughter, she's 8,
Mhm.
right? So she's at the point where she wants to go, mind you, she loves the racing, she lived the dream last summer, let's just put it
Yeah.
that way. And like but it's time, right? It's time. So
Yeah.
when we went to like Sauble Beach and stuff like that, I took her, we went to the beach, we did all that just so like we could get that one-on-one with everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now mind you, I couldn't get Kevin to the beach because he doesn't like water, but
That was a wet weekend, even up at the track
oh
sometimes, though,
my
wasn't it?
gosh,
That was so
yes,
wet.
oh my gosh,
Is it
yes.
is there anything worse as a racer than rain?
Well, it's bad to say, because rain makes a lot of things.
Yeah,
So like it
It's a
helps
good
make
point.
beer, it helps make all those things that we enjoy.
it's true.
Okay,
So
we'll say bad weather then.
there we go.
We'll say bad weather.
Yeah, but you know what? It puts character into the season and it's like Sauble Beach, like I'm so glad the weekend started off a disaster because
Yeah.
me and my girls usually travel. So we leave. I'm not a morning person. So I refuse to travel on Saturday mornings. Call me a princess. I'm not up for all that in the morning. Not happening. So we would leave Friday and oh my gosh, there was 5 girls traveling. So that's a lot of
Estrogen.
emotions
Yeah.
in a vehicle and but we got through it. It was so much fun and it was we learned so much about each other, but it made us so much better. But it was a great weekend and it was memories. Like the memories we made were freaking phenomenal.
And you know
Yeah.
what? Sauble, if I'm not mistaken, was the source of your first top 10 of the season. And you put in like again a pretty decent race. The hope for this year, I would assume, is now I know your schedule is going to be very different this year. You're
Yeah.
taking some time
Yeah.
off, but you're
Yeah.
still planning on doing the dirt racing, and I believe a couple of starts in OSS this
Yes.
year.
Yeah. So I seen their schedule came out. I'm gonna hit Sunset for sure. I'm hitting Sunset. But it'll be the last one of the year. And I would like to hit I'm hoping to get cleared by the doctor in July to run the July race at
Mhm.
Delaware. If I can squeeze in a few races in between there, I would love to. But again, it's all getting kind of the clearing from the doctor to say, hey, yeah, you're good to go back. So once I get that, I think it'll be balls to the wall. But we're just
Yeah.
gonna Kev, he says, well, just, take your time. And I'm like, do you know what it's like to have to sit there and watch it? He's like, yes, I do, actually. Well,
Yeah, it definitely is going to be different for you, but you obviously got a lot on the table
yeah.
with the opportunities to do this. Let's learn a little bit about why did you decide to go to OSS?
Well, for one, I had absolutely no interest in asphalt at all. I had
Really?
none. It wasn't even a thought. And 3 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe, when me and Kev started dating, um, he tried to get me the first year. He says, come on, just try it, just try it, just try it.
He's
And I was
pushy
like,
like that, eh?
no. I was like, nah. I'm like, that's for getting there, like to get out of here. But he would come and he would come join me racing. So I'm like, okay, okay. Well, he's gonna stick around. So we got to compromise here. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. So I was like, if we can get some deals, I'm like, and get some sponsorships, I'm like, you know what? I'll try it. And he's like, okay. Mind you, I never learned how to drive stick. I've never drove on asphalt before. I never even seen like any of these tracks other than Delaware and Sunset.
Mhm.
So all these tracks that we went to this summer, I've never even seen them before.
Yeah.
So that was pretty intense.
That show, I mean, adaptability on the fly. I think you can probably put that on your resume.
Yeah. And that was kind of one of my other goals. Like I said, like going into it last year, like this is only going to progress me as a driver because it's
Yeah.
going to make me be able to be more adaptable to whatever service I'm running on.
And what, like you said too, um, the only time I've been on dirt, I didn't know what I was doing with it. But I mean, the like you say, you have to kind of slow down your thought process on asphalt, if I'm
Yes.
not mistaken, right? It happens a lot faster on dirt. So
Yeah.
that for you coming, was it easier maybe going from dirt to asphalt? I mean, you can't really compare it the other way because you didn't do it, but I mean,
Yeah, like I think they both have their own pros and cons to each
for
one.
sure, they're their own discipline.
Um,
You're right. Yeah.
yeah, like I think that with the asphalt, I had to be very particular in my
Hmm.
on and off spots.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
with the dirt, there was a little more give. Say if I missed it by like a tenth of a second, it wouldn't have made a huge difference on the outcome unless I was leading and fighting for a position up front.
Right, but it wouldn't kill your lap time or
That's it. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's like it's just a little more forgiving
Mhm.
than with the asphalt, I think that's what I noticed the difference the most.
Yep. And also, I want to double back because you've kind of referred to them a few times as your girls that you've had that are behind you, beside you. Um,
Hmm.
working on your race car, working with you, you're all learning racing and
Yeah.
adapting together, right?
Yes. Yeah. We all started actually at the racetrack. So each one of us, we either know, like, well, my sister Alicia,
Hmm.
um, she started helping me. It was about my first year after I was in, and she moved back from Kitchener and she just dove right in and she started helping. And then my best friend Bonnie, well, we've known each other since we were kids.
Yeah.
And then we just got closer. Once I started racing, our relationship just went right away. We bonded, right? So
Yeah.
it's one of those things that just we're at the racetrack every Saturday anyways. So we might as well be there running laps.
Yep.
So
Exactly. And
and then
sorry, go ahead.
Abby's the same thing. Abby's just, she's been a family friend for decades. So it's just one of those things that it's like, well, we're going to be at the racetrack. Why don't you just come help?
Hmm.
And
Nice.
I'm
And
part
then,
of
as you
that
said, you're
too.
kind of learning a lot about each other when you're jammed in a car for hours at a time together,
Oh, yeah.
traveling, or in a wet hotel or a hotel room after getting soaked at the racetrack,
Oh,
or what
yes.
have you. Insert scenario here, but you kind of learn a lot about each other when you're on the road and traveling like that. Eh?
Oh, it's, you know what? I think that we've all known each other very well,
Hmm.
but we really got to know each
It's like a
other
whole
this
new
summer.
level.
Yeah, and you know what? It's good and bad. And I said to the girls, before we went, I was like, you're going to say something that she doesn't agree with, and she's going to say something that you don't like, and I'm going to call somebody a name or vice versa. And I'm like, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's a high emotion sport.
Yes.
And when we're in those little moments, we just have to know, okay, we're going to step back. Hey, sorry, I said that. I didn't mean it. This is where I was at in my mind.
Yep.
Done deal. Move on with your day, right? We all sat down and had that conversation with each other. And I think that at the end of the day was, you know what? We're all here learning. We're all here trying to figure this out together. So there's no point of, overworking our emotions for something that we're trying to accomplish anyways together.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So,
That's a good like in your situation too, where you have like family and people that are friends as close as family too. It
yeah.
there's a degree of comfort probably too
Oh, yeah.
in yeah, like kind of the camaraderie that's already there. You can kind of yell at each other like your family
Yeah.
because you are family more or less.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. It is what it is. Now, for the
Yeah.
most part, if you have ever met my girls or, come around my team, we treat each other with so much respect.
Yes.
And it's one of those things that, you know what, they support me through so much and they support each other. Like, we don't, it's not even just race season. Like, we're
Hmm.
there with each other all year round. So it's more of a bond. It's grown more of like lifetime friends now.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great people I can attest to it that are part of the OSS. The racers are second to
Yeah.
none. The people all seem to help each other out when you need it. Who are some people in that garage that you've? We already know Chad.
Yeah.
I know Chad's
But
number
you know
one.
what? You know who tops Chad now?
Oh no, Chad, you've been replaced.
His dad.
Yes, Roger McGlynn.
Roger is the cutest old man I ever did see. And I tell him all the time, and we were at the banquet, and I said, I gotta get a picture with you. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, cutest old man. I like just the things he does. And like, even with supporting those two boys, like, I watched him when those guys are out on the track when they're qualifying or when they're running hot laps or whatever. And just the focus that he has for those two boys blows my mind.
Hmm.
And they have such a good bond that it's just, to me, it just steals my heart. And with being a PSW, I went into that trade because you want to help them, you want to do, and but when you see a cute one, you want to. It's like when you're a baby, you just want to like grab their cheeks and just, oh my god. So he stole my heart this summer, and
Uh,
it took me, I think, till we were at sunset. I think it was sunset, and finally I was like, Kev went over and he says, Laura, you got to go meet Laura. She's dying to meet you. So he came over, he's like, something about being famous or something. And right there, I'm like, oh, this guy, he stole my heart.
He is though. He is the
yeah.
living legend of OSS. He's
Mhm.
responsible for I think like 50% of the wins and championships in the series history. Like
That's insane.
it's insane what he's done for that series.
Nuts.
And uh, speaking of insane, there was something that you had happen a couple weeks ago that it
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
may have been waiting for literally for years, that we've been
Yes.
waiting for, and it finally happened, and I don't know which
It did.
hand it's on, but
He
there it
did.
is.
He did well.
He
He did
did
well.
well. He was nervous, I'll say that.
He did well.
He was extremely nervous, and but he finally did it. How do you feel, Mrs. Soon to be? Are you gonna go traveling, or are you gonna stick with the Authier?
I think it's gonna go traveling. I think it's gonna go
Okay.
traveling. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So the big news was it I can't remember, New Year's or Christmas?
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve,
Christmas
yeah.
Yeah.
Eve proposal. So
Yeah.
um how's it feel?
It's exciting. It's so many emotions, but at the end of the day, like when I was finally able, because we had so much going on throughout all the holidays and everything, I was finally able to like sit on it. It was about a week later, and I'm going, holy shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
it actually happened. And I'm like, okay,
It
this
did.
is
It did.
real.
He kept teasing. He kept teasing, saying like, "Oh,"
He did.
I kept saying to him, "I'm going like, when are you gonna do this already?" I should have been forcing it, like, but like seriously. And
Yeah.
you know what? It's obviously we're excited for you and excited for both of you guys and excited
Yeah.
to you guys be out on the racetrack sooner or later. Obviously, like I said, it'd be a bit of a weird year for you
Yeah.
with taking some time off for a medical reason, but
Hmm.
you know what? We like to give our racers the opportunity to shout out their partners, shout out
Yeah.
on social media. You're very active on social media.
I
And
try. I try. I'm still
yeah,
learning. I'm still
you're very
learning lots.
still learning, but you're still very active, which is
Yes.
extremely
Yeah.
It's
important.
like driving race cars. You're always
It
learning the
is.
social media thing, yeah.
It is. And believe me, I hate social media, but we have to use it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to
Like
use it.
I'm not very tech savvy. So I'm like I'm trying to figure out all these things and it's just I'm like I could be on there for hours and not even realize it because I'm like, well, that's not turning out how I thought it would. And what does this button do? And what's that one do? And
Sounds
Yeah.
a
oh,
lot like
let's look through
sounds a
these.
lot like my co-host.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So we'll
I'm
give you the
I'm
opportunity,
hoping.
Laura. All right.
Pardon?
So we'll give you the opportunity. Shout
Okay.
out your amazing partners, the people that help you get to the racetrack each and every week.
Okay, so this year we have coming on board again CDN Metal and Fabrication. We got Build a Dream coming back on, of course. Nora has been wonderful, and I love, what she has behind her and the she's just doing so fabulous with getting, the government behind her too, with supporting all these women and getting them in these trades. So,
Mhm.
Build a Dream's coming back on board. JP Moran, Dentistry, Mighty Wipes, of course. Brad's Delivery's coming back on. We got Pluto Plants coming on, and DJ Johnny 5 and the Crafty Witch so far. So we got for the season that I'm gonna have. Again, like I'll be mostly on dirt this year, being offered a ride on that side. But I'm hoping to cross our fingers if we can get funds that 26. Hopefully, it'll be another full OSS season. That's the goal.
That's the goal. And of course, she's Lora Authier, and she is an SNS racer once again for 2025. We absolutely love Laura, and we can't wait to see her back at the racetrack, and maybe we'll see you at Motorama. Hopefully, if you guys are, I don't know if you're planning on being there, but
No, my surgery is actually that Tuesday or Wednesday. So, yeah.
so unfortunately
But
not, but at the racetrack at some point
yes,
this year. Make sure you guys follow Laura Authier on social media. Laura, how can they find you on socials?
you can find me on Facebook group Lora Authier Racing, and then you can also find me on Dirt is My Glitter on Instagram. Or sorry, it's Dirt is My Glitter 30 on Instagram. And I can't remember what my TikTok is, but I think
I think
it's
it's the
under
same.
Lora Authier. Is it the same?
I think it's the dirt is my glitter, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're very active on all of those. So
Yes.
definitely people reach out. Always
Yes.
always does some really cool draws, possibly some booze draws. I've seen those. They tend to get a lot of people interested. So, best of luck, Laura, this season in the races that you make,
Thanks, Cam.
and obviously with your surgery as well.
Yes,
That's
thank
we
you.
wish you the best. And Mary and Kev, that's probably the biggest thing out of all of that. So.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I told him, I'm like, we have so many race cars, I can't set a date yet. I'm like, we have too many things going on. But I'm like, so when we start eliminating race cars, I'll start setting a date. But for right now, we're having a blast. I'm so excited.
That it shows you guys have a great time together and
You
living
know
this
what?
fun
It's truly
lifestyle.
like with the racing, it just flows. It
Yeah.
just it's such a big part of both of our lives that it's when they say it really is a lifestyle, it is. It's no joke when they state that. You know, it's right now he's still out working on race cars in it, you know, so it's he's so hard at it and he's so good. And I wouldn't be here either if it wasn't for Kev. He puts so much work and so much into my like supports my dreams too, because I wouldn't have been able to run OSS. I wouldn't have had full full go if Kev didn't say, you know what, I got your back, let's do this. So if it wasn't for him, I think it wouldn't have been as easy and it wouldn't have flowed as easy as it did.
Well, we're rooting for both of you. That's it's cool to see that and have that kind of partnership for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Laura Authier, one of our longest tenured friends of the show, and her and Kevin Trevlin, we really appreciate you coming on board. Muskoka Jet Ski
Yeah.
Rentals and Mighty Wipes presenting Ladies of the Oval Month here on Stickers and Scuffs. Make sure you go out there and support Laura Authier all season long. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next week for our finale of Ladies of the Oval Month.